All right, thank you. Thank you, Infocom, for having us. Thank you, Chris, for joining me on stage. Today we're going to be talking about smart wearables and connecting audiences. Chris, if you want to introduce yourself quickly.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Chris Cowley, Senior Director of Technology at C2, and I head up all of our partnerships and data strategy for our events.
Cool. And I'm Adekambi Laleye. Please feel free to call me Camby. I run key accounts at Klik. Basically, I take care of all our larger accounts, either brand base or attendee size, and also deal with our partnerships. Chris, if you want to tell us a little bit more about C2?
Yeah, for sure. Just coming off the heels of our 2018 edition, C2 is an intimate experience event where we bring 7,000 people from 60 different countries through methodologies and scientific research. We enable masterclasses, speakerships, and different experiences that everybody together can unlock the creative juices that is C2.
Cool. If you haven't been to C2, I'm not sure how many people in the audience have been there, but I highly recommend it. I'm not just saying it because C2 is next to me on stage, but it's one of the best conferences I've ever been. I've been 4 years in a row. I've been to hundreds of conferences around the world, and it's something special for sure. I guess I'll share a little bit of Klik with you. Klik is a smart wearable solution for conferences, meetings, and events. It's 3 form factors. So we have a badge, a smart wearable on the wrist, and also a button. The brains are exactly the same in terms of feature-wise, which we'll go through a little bit shortly. It's just a different body. And really, it's connecting every attendee to the smart wearable. So we say it's 100% adoption. So you don't have a choice. Once you have it on, you're being tracked from an organization standpoint. And then from an attendee standpoint, there's awesome, great features that, again, we'll talk a little bit more shortly. What I do want to do next is actually show you guys a user journey. And it was created for C2 2017, so last year. And it's going to show you a little bit about Klik features and also a little bit about C2. So. Cool. So there you got a chance to really see a user journey through C2. Chris, if you want to share a little bit more about C2 this year and how together Klik and C2 came about and how the partnership works.
Absolutely. At our 2018 edition, we had some great successes this year. Our participants that are from all over the world have made over 70,000 different connections, and which has all been enabled by the Klik technology. The most important part for C2 that we really believe in is the organic experience that we allow our participants to actually have. It's a really unique thing today in a saturated market of event apps that we allow such an organic experience at our C2 event. It's really a magical moment in time that we believe that people, or 1 in 4 people from C2 actually make a deal because of the unique experience that they have. The technology in itself, like Camby said, with 100% adoption rate, we're able to capture data from all over our site plan. We have information on all of our workshops and master classes. We understand the participants' needs. We understand their dwell times. We understand the overall traffic flow. And is the whole design of what our event is, did it make sense and did it work the way we wanted it to? And we can reflect on all of this and continuously retune and refine our experience year on year as C2 continues to grow and evolve.
Cool, thanks. From a technology standpoint, we work really closely with C2 and working on future roadmaps and what our technology is going to be able to do. But from infrastructure, what we did was we actually dropped what we call tags, which is the next level of a beacon. We dropped over 800 of them on the C2 venue floor, and also had 17 what we call hubs, which is the brain of the operation that talks back to their servers, that sends the information to the attendees' timeline on their mobile phones, computers, or tablets. And basically, this is the infrastructure that we work with C2 from a data standpoint, sitting down with them beforehand and seeing what do they want to gather, what are they trying to learn from their attendees on site. And if we could talk about that a little bit more and how we work together on doing that.
No, it's a great point. And in a world today with data, so many companies end up with data for the sake of data or end up in analysis paralysis, looking at the data, trying to figure out what it is we can do with it and what we should do with it. The unique partnership and relationship that we have here with Klik is really special to us because we go through a journey. We go through understanding the beginning of our event. What are our objectives? What can we track? How can we track it? What are the objectives that we can get out of it? And all of this planning translates into a superior infrastructure that gives our participants a very customized, bespoke journey through the entire event. Coming up post-event and all of the analytics that we look at this, now that we've pre-planned our journey and we've understand the objectives, we can really tailor the output of all of the data that we have collected through the event space. And taking all of this, again, like I said before, helps C2 tailor its experience year on year. We're collecting the bookmarks, what people liked, what they didn't like, what created an emotion for our participants. Did the people that they registered for different classes or their talks, did they attend what they were supposed to attend? Did they attend more than what we expected for them to attend? And all of this curates very detailed analytics that help us move forward.
So one of the really important things to remember is that we're not just using data for data and just feeding them information. It's we sit down beforehand with their clients, with C2, and we work backwards. It's kind of funny because we're sitting here before and they're asking us to scan our badges. But with using the Klik technology, we're passively tracking everybody. So there's no need to scan a badge. There's no need to check into anywhere since we actively know where everyone is. For instance, if you were walking to all these different booths on the trade show floor here, we would know how much time you spent at each one. And from there, we can actually start using our networking and smart match technology, start sending you more information in terms of what you care about as an attendee. And that's working with C2 is something we're working really closely with is that user experience, not as a whole, but individually. Each person has a different path through an event and really curating that experience for them. So based on the people you connect with, based on the keynotes and the sessions you go to, and the trade show floors, removing that FOMO of I have to run around to each booth and spend 30 seconds at each one and try to get as much information. What about if you spend 5 minutes at the things you actually like, so tomorrow we can recommend you which ones you should actually go check out and who are the people you should meet while on site, right?
No, it's great. And speaking of the product roadmap and all of the different features that Klik offers to C2, having the opportunity to be part of that product roadmap and shaping some of the ideas that collectively we come up with at C2, it's really interesting to see that for our 2018 edition, we were really able to curate that bespoke journey through a registration process. Yep. So you talked earlier about the scanning versus passively just understanding where our participants are. This year, we ensured that all of our participants attended 2 master classes, a talk, one of the collaborative experiences that we offer. And tailoring this registration process, changed the way C2 was experienced this year from our participants. And that was a really unique development for us.
Yeah. Let's take a look here at, see if we go to the next slide. There we go. Let's look at the stats quickly. Really high level dashboard. Obviously we can provide, or we do provide a much richer, deep analysis of this, but quickly go over what we see here.
So like I mentioned earlier, over 7,000 participants at C2, unique visits from the 60 different countries. This year we doubled our contact exchanges. This, for us, was evidence and proof that our methodology works. The way that we break down barriers from C-level executives right down to the startups, the entrepreneurs, the students, that can challenge in our today's society and all of the barriers that we have on different topics. How do people grow their businesses? The startups that, with 2 or 3 employees grow to 240 across China. We see that because of these contact exchanges, and again, that organic experience, that rather than pulling out a business card, have the ability to simply just click with one another and exchange that contact details. The session attendance tracking was really important as well. That helped us validate that the registration process that we developed of guiding people through curating this digital journey of our participants, it actually worked. The 7,000 different people going through all 50 plus different sessions with over 40,000 different spots, we knew we had the vacancy, but they actually attended. And seeing this dashboard is where C2 can actually validate all of our different methodology. Seeing a 9.4 average contact exchange, it goes again with our numbers. 1 in 4 people make a deal. Well, they've made over 10 different contracts at C2.
Yep.
So
Which
this
is
really
actually
helps.
double from last year. I know last year we were
Huge.
around the 5, and I was talking to one of your colleagues earlier, and it took less than 3 hours last year for someone to stop taking out their business card and just clicking with someone. And right there, we actually changed the behavior of attendees on site, where for the past 20 years, you're used to taking out your business card and trading with someone, but actually just going on site and being able to click and kind of creating that new behavior is big for us. Yeah.
It's really important at C2. Again, it's this organic experience and getting people off of their devices. It really is about engagement. When you want your participants to walk away with learnings and a new outlook on life and how they can change the way they do business, the different things that they can do differently to create revenue or to change the way we look at society, being engaged is very important. And that organic experience through the badge takes people off of their devices, allows them to put it into their pockets, and be engaged, participate, change it from a monologue to a dialogue during the conference. And those are all really key factors to success.
And I think, again, that's why our partnership works so great, is that we have the user both at the start and in the center of how we think. And the foundation of how we were built and put together, Klik and C2, is based on the user. And I think with our roadmap and working with you guys side to side on a new feature, for example, touch points that we released this year, knowing where people spend time and being able to send them information based on where they spend time and see who they spend time with and which sessions they go to and curate their special roadmap for that user is great. Yeah.
It's a great point, actually, Kambi. If you can talk to us a little bit more about the touch points and the content that we can deliver to the participants through this pre-planned journey.
Sure. So a touch point for us is, again, if you take a booth or a session or a keynote and having that user spend X amount of time based on the organizer is time. So if you go to a session that's 30 minutes, after 20 minutes, you can automatically push that user information to their timeline. Or if you go to, let's say, a Tesla booth, and there's 3 different models. You have the Model 3, the S, and the X, and based on where you spend X amount of time, it's actually going to push you information. And then from a lead retrieval standpoint, Tesla will actually know, let me outreach to Chris in for this example. He spent 15 minutes at the Model X and only 3 minutes with the Model S and 2 minutes at the Model 3. So when I, as an organization, reach out to Chris for a sales standpoint, I know just to talk to him about the Model X, right? So those are new features that, again, we're rolling out partnered with C2, and it's the approach of, we're not scared to fail. So we use C2 from a Klik standpoint as a launch kind of our new features, and that's where we tweak them for the following year and roll them out to our other clients. And same thing with C2 is, your President Richard mentioned this in one of his talks, of how everything you guys do at C2 Montreal, you learn from that. The following year, it's always going to be different, but you learn from what worked and what didn't work and carry that across to your other clients and your other events. So maybe you can talk to us a little bit about your other events that you have. I know Melbourne's coming up.
Yep, so we have Melbourne this year in October. And again, being able to work with you guys on the product roadmap, it's really special to us because at C2, we talk about taking risks and we talk about the different approaches to doing business. So to be able to take risk and to be the launch ground of new product features is important to us. It's how we embody what we tell our participants. Take risks, be bold, get the creative juices flowing, and being a launching ground for new product features really enables C2 to push the envelope and to become something bigger and better year on year. Even some of the basic features that we really enjoy. One for me, we have the light show. Again, it comes back to that engagement. people are paying attention. And when your badge or your wristband or your button starts lighting up, and the cues that people have to move on. And this is important for us as well because, again, it's about consuming the content so that people are learning and seeing the cues when everybody around you is lighting up, whether it's a different color to indicate to go to a master class, or maybe it's flashing red because it's time to go to a talk. And you can see that everybody around you, and your head's up, you're engaged, and you're awake again.
And that's really where, from a Klik standpoint, where we're trying to get the user away from their mobile device. We want people to connect with each other and be in the moment. So using different features like light paging to let you know a session's about to start in 5 minutes, or just a contact exchange from an attendee standpoint where you don't have to go to your phone, or bookmarking where you're in a session and you don't have to take your phone out and take a picture of the slide, click on your smart wearable and get that slide sent to your timeline. And then from an attendee standpoint, to be able to go back to your office and to download all that information to your colleagues in terms of, this is where I went, this is who I met, this is what I did for a day, 2 days, 3 days at an event, where you can really just have that all in front of you and not forget anything that you did, is again, the user at the center of everything.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a great point there, Camby, talking about the timeline feature. The timeline is such a powerful tool when you realize that it puts everything into context. Who did I meet, when did I meet them, and where did I meet them? And it helps you remember maybe whatever conversation that you may have had. And being able to put context around your experience at the event really helps carry this 365. You understand the people that I met and why I met them, and that becomes part of the decision-making process when you go back from C2 to make a deal.
Cool. On that, is there anything else that you wanted to share regarding C2 and what the roadmap looks for you guys?
Well, definitely we have our Melbourne edition coming up this October. We have C2 2019 already on sale right now, again next May.
Great.
It's definitely an opportunity everybody should consider. It's groundbreaking, the results that we see year on year. And just the fact that this year that we saw double our contact exchanges, we almost doubled on we significantly increased our level of participation. And the way that our sessions were enjoyed this year and all of the thought leadership coming out of that is significant.
How do you guys work with your clients? I know EY is one of your clients, Michelin is one of your clients. How do you guys collaborate with them?
C2 is the R&D, it's the lifeblood in our own event in Montreal. So that's where we have the opportunity to test these collaborative experiences or immersive events that we have people do. Even here on site at Infocom, we have 2 of our labs at the back near the park, where we talk about the Sky Lab and we have In the Dark. The Sky Lab is something where people have the moonshots, they have the ability to be lifted off the ground, to think outside of the box, and bringing them back down to the ground is the shared experience of how am I going to put this into practice. So taking all of this R&D that we do, we then take out to our corporate clients where we can share this and help enrich their discussions when they talk about different issues and everything else that's going on in their world.
Yeah, one thing that I really do love about C2 is they put you in a situation that you'd never be in. You have your typical meetings in conference rooms or over coffee, but the thing about C2 is they keep you on your toes. And for instance, the first thing when you walked in this year to C2 2018 is there's a big round rotating platform. So the minute you stepped into the site, you were actually thrown off balance. And that was basically the theme for the full 3 days, is that it was keeping you off balance and keeping you on your toes to really make you think outside the box. And that's just something that I love about C2, and we're super happy to be partnered with them and to roll out our technology, and the fact that they're open and willing to allow us to kind of test things on them as well, and to keep moving Klik technology forward is great. So on that note, I think we're all set and we're all wrapped up here, but thank you again for joining us. If you have more questions, we'll be hanging around. Chris, Camby, C2, Klik, thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Camby.